Hello there, lovely folks of YouTube. Ren here. I wanted to talk about one of the plants that is most important to me in my garden, and that is this one right behind me here. This is Rue. Ruta graveolens is the Latin name for this. This is an old world herb. It is native to the Mediterranean. As you can imagine, being native to the Mediterranean, like many other Mediterranean plants, it does like those hot, dry, sunny spots. This is something that will grow in zones 6 to 11, so if you're in a colder climate, it will not overwinter for you, but it can be grown as an annual. It is very drought tolerant once it's established. It's what we call a woody perennial. So it develops these stems on it. I'm not sure if you can see them, but they're very, they're not quite wood, but they're definitely very hard and have sort of a scaly appearance similar to wood. This is a plant that will grow in the ground, but it can also be grown in a large pot if you have very heavy clay soil that likes to hold on to a lot of moisture, or if you're just in one of those colder areas where you need to bring it into a sheltered place over the winter. It does get to about 2 to 3 feet tall and has about that same amount of spread. As you can see, mine behind me is pretty much full size right now. It has these little leaflets here, very blue-green sort of leaflets, very distinctive leaflets on it. They are very aromatic in sort of a smelly way. The name graveolens actually means strong smelling. They are also very, very bitter tasting. It's believed that that's where the use of the word rue for regret came from eating this plant, because it can be very bitter. Now you do have to also be very careful with this. Now I'm handling this because I know that I'm okay. I've had a lot of experience with this plant, but some individuals will get what's called phytophotodermatitis, which is basically a blistering rash that occurs when you touch the plant, and then that skin that touched the plant is exposed to sunlight. So you have to be careful. If you haven't had any previous experience with this plant, be very, very careful in handling it. And I would recommend handling it with gloves if you don't know for sure that you're safe. This is sometimes grown as a animal or flea repellent. I don't find it in like the big box stores, but I will find it in some of the smaller garden specialty stores, and it's usually packaged in such a way as like a cat repellent plant. Whether it actually repels cats, I can't say for sure, but animals generally don't like the smell of it, so they tend to avoid at least the area in which it's planted. This was actually widely used as a culinary herb until the Middle Ages. That really bitter flavor was actually appreciated. I have actually cooked with it myself. I have a recipe for a Roman dish called moretum, which is sort of like an herb cheese spread, and it does use rue in it, so very, very small amounts of it can be safely ingested. I don't recommend taking it in large quantities though, because it's possible, we don't know for sure, but it is possible that it could damage the liver and kidneys in large amounts. So not that, I mean, if you taste it, you probably wouldn't want to eat a lot of it anyway. So this is a very, very attractive plant to bees and butterflies. You can see these the yellow flowers on them. Mine is almost done blooming, and it's made mostly these little seed pods, but the little flowers are actually very attractive to bees. I've had bees on it just about every day. And this is a larval host plant for the swallowtail butterfly, in particular the black and tiger swallowtails. I have black swallowtails that will cover this thing with caterpillars in the late summer, so that's always fun to watch. This can very easily be propagated either from cuttings of the plant, or you can grow it from seed. If you do plant the seed, this is one of the very unusual seeds that actually requires light to germinate. So you can't actually bury the seed. If you bury it, it will not sprout. Just lay the seed on the surface of the soil and keep it moist, and it will sprout that way. However, this plant behind me has freely self-seeded all the little buds that I accidentally didn't pick before they went to seed. Yeah, it's seeded itself all over the place, and I'm picking out baby rue plants pretty much everywhere. And some of them I'll package up and give to friends, and others just go in the compost, unfortunately. Or sometimes they get used, but usually I have more rue than I know what to do with. This plant does have a very, very long magical history. It is sometimes called herb of grace. It was considered to be used as protection from witchcraft. But ironically, some sources also listed it as an herb that witches will grow in order to be able to identify each other as witches. This is a very, very, very historic plant in Italy and Roman areas. This is a plant that was grown around the Temple of Mars in ancient Rome, so it definitely has those Mars and fire astrological associations. In modern Italian folk witchcraft and Stregheria, it is very widely used as a protective icon. There's actually a silver charm that's called the Cimaruta, which translates to sprig of rue, and it's a very stylized rue sprig with different little icons incorporated into it that is used as a protective charm that either can be worn around the neck, or it's typically hung over the cradle of the young infants in order to protect the babies in the cradle. So this plant is excellent, excellent, excellent for protection and hex breaking. I use this primarily for cleansing in my home. In bulk, I will make an asperger from whatever rue sprigs I happen to have out here that have overwintered, and I will use that to sprinkle blessed water around my home in order to cleanse the home of any gluch from the previous year. You can use it a wash or asperger or however you see fit, just to cleanse unwanted energy from any of your tools or spaces. I don't know that I would burn this because it would probably stink, and I'd imagine it wouldn't be good, but for the respiratory system, boy, I really brain farted there bad. But yeah, definitely good for washing and herbal infusions and the like. This is one of the ingredients that is very widely used in Four Thieves vinegar, which of course is also good for cleansing. And I have a recipe that I posted up a video for several months ago, so if you're interested, maybe I'll throw a little link in there. We'll see. But anyway, depends on how much effort I want to put into this video, I guess. But yeah, Four Thieves vinegar, very widely used in that as well, and a lot of the historical recipes call for this plant in there. So, but yeah, this is a very important plant to me, and I love it. And it's really, really stupid easy to grow. It just needs the space. So I've actually have a neighbor who grows it in a pot, so I know it can be done. If you can find it, I recommend you give it a chance. But anyway, I hope this video finds you well, especially given the current circumstances. But definitely stay safe, everyone. I will see you again soon.